Y'all, I've told you how many wonderful people I meet when I'm at our different restaurants and having book signings. And it's just wonderful, wonderful meeting all of you folks. Well, this past weekend in Pigeon Forge, I met a woman, and her name is Tammy Reynolds. And Tammy lives in Anna, Ohio. So Tammy says, thank you so much for asking about myself and for the drop sugar cookie recipe. They are the best. And she wants to bake for a living, but she actually works in a Honda factory. But for now, she just gets to bake on the weekends, and she takes a lot of orders for this particular cookie from her friends at work. And she said they'll usually order 4 dozen at a time. And she said they freeze very well. And she said, I entered these in our local fair, and she won first place with this cookie. And it sounds wonderful. And it's just different from any cookie recipe I've ever had. And as you know, we're doing the 12 Days of Christmas cookies, and this is number 9. So we have got 2 sticks of butter, 2 cups of white sugar. We're going to need a tablespoon of vinegar, 3 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour sifted. And then we're going to need a tablespoon of vanilla, a tablespoon of coconut flavoring, and 1 cup of whole milk. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. She said we kind of did this a little backwards. All right, let's see, 1 tablespoon. She said to put the flavorings in and then fill it up with milk. So we already had the cup of milk, so I just backed off some. And I'm going to see how close we are now to having exactly 1 cup. All right. And a tablespoon of vanilla. I like the way you think, Tammy. I love these extracts. Okay, let's see if I took out the right amount. It's perfect. We got 1 cup of white milk. Okay. So that gets that. Okay, we've got our butter. Tammy, I hope you're watching and keep me straight, girl. All right, so I'm going to take our flour and I'm going to add our soda and our baking powder. And I'm going to whisk this up. Because you're not, oh, look, the whisk fairy came. Thank you, whisk fairy. I was using one of my whisks the other day, and I saw pieces coming off into my ingredients. And they say Tammy said to sift this flour, but I think using a whisk, it does just as well. So I so enjoyed meeting Tammy. And it was so sweet of her to share her recipe with all of us. So Tammy says for us to mix our sugar and our butter together and cream it for about 3 to 4 minutes. Next, we're going to add our tablespoon of vinegar. Whoops. That measures about like my vanilla extract. All right, and then I'm going to add our eggs one at a time. And these were big eggs. So our flour comes next. And she said, slowly add that. And then our milk with our extracts in it will come last. And remember to keep your spatula handy. All right, we've got our batter. And Tammy says to slowly add our milk that contains our vanilla and our coconut extract. That's it, y'all. All right. Now here's the fun part that I find fun. She tells us to put this in a freezer and freeze it overnight. But she says she's actually left it in her freezer for a couple of weeks. So, if you get busy tomorrow after it's been 24 hours and something happens and you don't have time to make it at the end of 24 hours, you can let it go for another 24 hours. And this is called a drop sugar cookie. And so after this freezes, we're going to treat it just like it's ice cream. We're going to get an ice cream scoop and just scoop it and bake these off. And then they have the most wonderful sounding frosting. And we hadn't done a frosted cookie yet for our 12 days of Christmas cookies. So I'm going to be real excited about this one, Tammy. Thank you so, so much. All right, cookie number 9. At the start of this video, I made the batter. And our instructions from Tammy were to put this in the freezer for 24 hours. So we made it one day, and now we're gonna bake them off the next day. So I've sprayed my scoop. I've got my parchment paper, and she said just use an ice cream scoop and dip out the frozen batter, which may be a little work. She didn't tell me which size ice cream scoop to use, so I'm kind of using a small one. So this is going to be real interesting, Tammy. It would work out real good if Michael would walk in the door about right now. You know it. My freezer freezes. I tell you what, Tammy, scooping out that frozen dough ain't for sissies, is it, Teresa?
No.
Teresa jumped in and helped me. Okay, these are going in a 350-degree oven for 13 minutes. And at this point, you could put the colored sugars, any kind of sprinkles on it. But she has enclosed the frosting recipe, and she said, I highly recommend the frosting. So I'm highly going to make that frosting. 13 minutes, y'all. Tammy girl. These look incredible. And I think I pick up now the reason for freezing these. First, that one stayed in maybe a minute. Or maybe this one didn't stay in a minute long enough. All right, so she said to cool them on the cookie sheets for a couple of minutes. And then we're going to take them off and we're going to let them cool completely. Because we're going to make a frosting for them. And you don't want to try to frost a warm cookie. Whoa, watch it. Or because it'll run off. The cookies look beautiful. But Teresa and I realized that we did not use a big enough ice cream scoop. We probably should have used maybe this size. Instead, we didn't use that size, did we? We used this down. But this one is probably the one you're going to use. But I have turned these cookies over so they can cool on every part of them while I make the icing. And I've got 1 stick of softened butter. I've got, let me see, half a cup of butter and a half a cup of butter flavoring shortening. So we're just gonna cream that together. Tammy says to beat in 1 cup of confectionate sugar at the time. And she actually calls for 4 cups of powdered sugar. And a 1 pound bag is exactly 4 cups. And I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of milk. So I'll be adding that along with the powdered sugar. And for some reason, a little liquid goes a long way with powdered sugar. I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and add our vanilla since this is the last of our ingredients. All right, this is 1 teaspoon of coconut and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. I'm gonna add, and I hope I'm not making a mistake, Tammy, but I'm gonna add another teaspoon of coconut. Oh, that smells good. This frosting is gorgeous, y'all. And I bet you Tammy pipes hers on. But I'm just gonna put mine on with a knife. And look at here. Now you're gonna need to choose to put sprinkles on it. You're gonna have to do it pretty soon, pretty quick, because it won't stick after a few minutes. The frosting's gonna coat over, and then the sprinkles won't fit. So we've used the purple, the pearls, the green, the blue, and the coral. So I think it's time to taste now. Which one do y'all want me to taste?
Coral.
Coral. Okay, thank y'all. Okay, so here we go, Tammy. You are number 9. Is that right, Teresa? Number 9 on our cookie train. And I appreciate so much you sharing your favorite recipe with us. Tammy, this is delicious. I love the coconut flavor. And the icing. You know, I've said it once, but I'm going to say it again. Solid shortening makes for a fabulous icing. Come pick your poison.
Ooh, I can't right this second.
You think you type 2 diabetic?
Probably. After number 9. Well, tell them love and best dishes.
I think she's rushing me.
I am not.
Okay, so I do what I'm told. Love and best dishes, y'all.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it
and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.